Becoming a parent for the very first time changes a person forever, and tennis world champion Rafael Nadal is no different. The tennis star's uncle, Toni Nadal, recently shared his insights on his nephew and how Rafael will handle both the sport and his newborn son at the same time. If you'd like to know what Toni Nadal thinks, stick with us, cause we've got all the details. Anyway, let's get right into it. First things first, Toni on Rafael dealing with fatherhood. Rafael, undoubtedly one of the best tennis stars in the world, has just entered a new phase of his life, fatherhood. The Spaniard has devoted around 20 years of his life to the sport, and it's still going well and strong. He's won countless championships and trophies throughout his star-studded career. Right now, he's the current world number 2 according to the ATP ranking, and has won 2 Grand Slam titles this year alone, in the Australian Open and the French Open. And now, he's achieved yet another significant milestone in his life, as he welcomed his first baby boy earlier this month. Toni Nadal, who is not only Rafael's uncle, but also his former coach, as well as the current director of the Rafa Nadal Academy in Manacor, was recently reached out to for his thoughts on his nephew's new phase of life. In his interview earlier this month, Toni Nadal touched on how excited he knew the tennis star was about becoming a father, but at the same time, nothing was going to change for him after becoming a parent. He explained his nephew will try to go on normally, but he's very confident that the current world number 2 will be great at both managing his growing family as well as his legendary tennis career. He couldn't see why not, especially considering that many athletes have continued their activity after becoming parents, and that Rafael will definitely follow their example. Next up, Rafael Nadal will face some challenges. While his uncle has nothing but confidence that Rafael will be able to manage fatherhood and his career, at the same time, Toni acknowledged he will face some challenges going for the Australian Open next January. Not only will he be going halfway across the world with hardly 2 months after the birth of his new baby boy, but it will also have him spend a lot of time away from his family, not to mention getting used to the oceanic summer, and that, in the best case, which will probably happen for him, he'll have to continue competing for 2 weeks if he revalidates the title he won last January. In his interview, Toni makes sure to warn his nephew that it won't be easy to do this so soon after his son's birth. In his words, when Rafael has to go away for the Australian Open next January, it will be difficult to get away from his son, but it's the price you have to pay. Well said, Toni. Unfortunately for Nadal, this won't be the only time he'll have to get away from his family for extended periods of time because of his career, but Toni's sure that he'll get used to it eventually and find a way to make it work. After all, it's nothing new for a lot of athletes. Coming up, Nadal welcomes baby boy with wife Chisca Perello. The world number 2 in tennis welcomed his very first child with his wife Maria Francisca Perello, lovingly known as Chisca Perello, in the first week of October. Since the birth, Nadal had dropped off the face of social media, but after about a week, he resurfaced to let everyone know that the family was healthy and to thank everyone for their love and support. Interestingly, the couple has named their new baby boy Rafael after his father. It's unusual because, according to Majorcan tradition, the newborn child should have been named after his paternal grandfather. This means the little one should have been called Sebastian, according to custom, after the athlete's father. The star himself has been named after his own grandfather, who passed away in 2015, and his own father after his great-grandfather. So, the tennis champion's son would be the first time breaking a long line of tradition. The full name of Rafael and Chisca's child has been confirmed to be Rafael Nadal Perello, and he was born on the 8th of October 2022. What's more, Roger Federer believes Nadal will be a great dad. After the news that Rafael has become a father for the first time in his life spread like wildfire on the internet, one video grabbed a lot of attention, and it's a pretty sweet one. In the video, we can see all the members of the Big Four tennis stars give the Spaniard some advice as he got closer and closer to embracing fatherhood. First of all, we can see Rafael's career-long rival in tennis, Roger Federer, say that he believes the Spaniard will turn out to be a great father. On the other hand, Murray jokingly advised him to get a lot of sleep before the baby came. Djokovic shared his own 2 cents with his rival, saying that Rafael should grow with the young one and stay involved in his life. The proud father is the last in the Big Four to become a parent, so it's really sweet seeing the other veterans share their own advice on parenting as a result of their own experiences as fathers. Moving on, doctor reveals Rafael Nadal's current state. For so many years, Rafael Nadal's doctor, Angel Ruiz-Cotorro, has been actively involved in the athlete's career, helping him to overcome so many injuries as well as to extend his career longer than he ever thought he could. Now, the doctor has shared some insights into the Spaniard and his current state. He said that right now, Rafael is fine and just delighted with his fatherhood at the moment, but as soon as that situation is fulfilled, which logically takes you out of the day-to-day, he is currently training well and following the schedule for the end of the season. Angel strongly believes that Rafael's secret to being such a good player lies in his hard work, passion for the sport, and his understanding and need to improve himself every day, as well as his naturally outstanding physical qualities. The doctor knows that Rafael is a historical player in the world of tennis, and he continues to give everyone joy with his career. That's a pretty supportive doctor. Considering the Spaniard's constant battles with injury and chronic pain, Angel has described the terrific run Nadal went on from the beginning of the 2022 season as a total miracle. In an interview back in June, Angel shared that it's a pretty spectacular thing. For any normal person, it would be a miracle to go the way that he did, but he was able to do it because the athlete really is built differently. Next up, Rafael Nadal should return to the court in the upcoming weeks. After a thrilling quarterfinal match against Taylor Fritz, Rafa had to withdraw before the semifinal, returning home in an effort to recover ahead of the US Open. As it turned out, there wasn't enough time for it, as Nadal fell to Francis Tiafoe in the fourth round. After missing out on the opportunity to get back his world #1 title, Rafael headed back home to Mallorca to spend time with his wife and a new family member as they became parents for the first time. Then, after missing the previous weeks of action, Nadal took a flight to London to compete alongside Roger Federer at the Laver Cup for the final match of his rival's career. He returned home the very next day. If all goes according to plan, we'll see him in action in Paris and Turin as he continues to compete for the year-end #1 honor for the 6th time. A lot of people thought that Rafael won't be playing for the rest of 2022, especially considering that he's been pretty silent about his schedule for the rest of the season. But thanks to his doctor, we now know that the athlete definitely still has plans to compete in the season. He was just prioritizing his wife giving birth and welcoming the newest member of his family into their house. So far, Rafael's only confirmed participating in an exhibition event in South America sometime at the end of November, where Casper Ruud will also be joining him. Last but not least, a look into Rafael Nadal's injuries throughout his career. Ever since Wimbledon, Rafa has been dealing with an abdominal injury, because of which he had to pull out of the All England club and suffered an earlier loss at the US Open. Now, since New York, Nadal hasn't competed in a singles match, but he hopes to correct this in Paris and Turin later this season. Rafa is improving his game in preparation for his return, spending time with his family and feeling better, according to his doctor Cotorro. He won 20 games in a row before winning his first Australian Open title in 13 years. Unfortunately, Rafa missed Barcelona and Monte Carlo after suffering a rib fracture at Indian Wells. The Spaniard struggled in both Madrid and Rome, and further issues developed above him prior to Roland Garros. Struggling with foot pain, the athlete needed injections to get through the best-of-5 efforts in Paris. He won 7 matches and won his 22nd major title. Nadal was hoping for more at Wimbledon until he had a serious abdominal injury, but despite having a 7mm rip, he still managed to win 5 matches. And that's a wrap for this video. Do you think Nadal will be able to manage fatherhood and his career? Let us know in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. See you at the next one.